Hello everyone, thanks for joining me on StubbleMeetsSteel. So this video is a little bit different, but I wanted to revisit a razor, and this is the Yaqi Ultima Slope. They're a slant razor, and it's an adjustable one. And I had kept seeing Subi Shaves has really been pumping up this razor, and I'd have to agree with them. This is one of my favorite adjustables and favorite slant razors for sure. What I love about it is it truly goes from mild, medium to aggressive. And some of the other ones like the console that I tried, even on the lower settings for me personally with my more medium coarseness beard and sensitive neckline especially, I couldn't really use the razors like the console and some of the other slant razors. I find that there's that fine line of a lot of them being too aggressive or too mild, and this was one of the ones I really liked. And I kept seeing Subi's videos, and I went to use it the other day, and it was, the adjustment knob was jammed up, and the last time that I had messed with it, I had done the color fill on the numbers on there. I don't know if you probably can't see them that well. There you go, I can kind of see them there. I had done the number color fill on the numbers, and I painted the button red there to make it easier to shave with. And so, you know, these Gibbs razors, that this is considered a Gibbs style razor, there's basically just a spring in there and there's not really much to it. And these ones, when you loosen this bottom piece, it's very easy to take the rest of it apart. You can take the handle off like this. And so I said to myself, there's just a spring inside there, like what could I possibly have done? What I was having an issue with was this thumb wheel was kind of binding, and it was not smooth at all. I'm like, well, geez, I don't remember it being like that. And then the numbers were also not lining up. So I messed with it for a little while, and you know, I had seen Chuck's shaving channel. He had an issue with his, and I can't remember what that issue was offhand, but I reached out to Subi. If you haven't seen his channel, this video is kind of a shout out to Subi, because he is the blade hack and the razor hack guru on YouTube as far as I'm concerned. You know, his ability to use different blades in any old vintage razor, and I love how he is not a purist and he's not afraid to modify a razor to be able to use it. You know, I feel that our grandfathers would have laughed at us and been like, guys, it's just a razor. If you can make it work, make it work. That's my take on it. So I respect the fact that he's willing to tinker with some razors and do some unorthodox things. So I reached out to him because I know he's such a master with all the Gibbs razors and all these Yaqis. And sure enough, he had the answers for me. And I'll post up his video, which is more in depth. But basically what I had to do was take this off like I just showed you, and then just flip it over, which I had thought of, and I sat there and I stared at it, and to me, to the naked eye, it looks the same. I didn't mic it or anything like that, but it looked the same to me. So while that did dawn on me, I just didn't do it. I should have. That fixed the binding effect of the thumb wheel, but the other issue that I had was that the numbers didn't line up. So he said, go ahead and, you know, make this bottom knob all the way loose, and then turn the base plate 180, and then sure enough, everything lined up, the numbers line up. It basically goes from like 1 to 7.5 now. It stops on the 1 setting, and it also doesn't bind at all. It's super smooth again. So it was just me. I put it together wrong after I had done the color fill, because there's no indentations or markings or anything to indicate that I needed to do anything special. So it was my ignorance and just not having any instruction to know anything better. But thanks to Subi, he saved the day. And you know, I really do enjoy this razor. So I was thrilled the fact that I was able to fix it myself and I didn't have to do anything with it or get a new one. For today's soap, I'm going to use RazorRock's Motor Fokker. This one smells fantastic. To me, it smells like the Jean-Paul Gaultier's La Mail cologne. That's what it smells like to me. For today's brush, I have a PA Star Wisp, but I actually changed the knot in it recently, and I just put in a AP Shave Co. This is just their tuxedo knot, not the G5C, but just their tuxedo, and I've really been liking it. I had actually gotten a AP Shave Co. The Silk Smoke knot, which is like a gray color. I thought it would kind of go good with this purple handle, and the color match wasn't the greatest, and I didn't pay close enough attention to the listing on AP Shave Co. Just that Silk Smoke knot, for whatever reason, runs a little bit like a millimeter smaller than what it's advertised as, and I didn't catch that. So it didn't really fit in here very well. I didn't really like how it fit, so that was the other reason I wanted to change it out. I found that the stock knot that came in here, it looked to be more like a fan shape than a bulb, and I personally just don't like the fan knots. I find that they kind of just flop at weird times and they just feel weird. They have their own unique feeling to them. If you like them and can work with them, more power to you. I didn't really care for it. So let's see how this one goes. I've used this knot. I just haven't used this brush since I put it back together with the new knot in it. So let's see how it goes. I haven't tried the G5C knot. I've heard that that has quite a bit of backbone, and I'm the odd guy out that doesn't really like a lot of backbone. So I purposely tried this tuxedo knot of theirs because I heard that it's not quite as robust backbone-wise as the G5C knot. And I find that it's got a little bit more backbone than the Sinbad knot, definitely a little bit more than the cashmere knot from AP Shave Co. But it's got less backbone than the Yaqi Cat Whispers brush did. And the Frank's G4 knot that I tried, it's definitely got less backbone than those. Lather pops in no time. With this soap, I'm gonna put just a tiny bit more water in there just for the heck of it. Sorry to all the people like the PA Star Wisp stock knot, but sorry but not sorry. This tuxedo knot kicks its ass all over the place, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so let's go here. Let's crank this up to, let's go with the 4. Not bad, but I'm gonna crank it down just a little bit, go with like a 3.5. That feels better. I just shaved yesterday, so I didn't really have that much facial growth here. One of the things I really like that I mentioned about this slope is that a lot of the adjustable razors that I've tried the Rockwell T2, I've tried the Parker variants, I have a McCore Progress, I've got a McCore Fatour, I've got Fatour clones, I've used some Gillette Black Beauties, I've used the Rex Console. I find that a lot of adjustables either start off too aggressive or they just have like 2 settings, if that you can use. So it begs the question, what's the point of the adjustable if I can't use most of the settings other than 1 or 2 of them? And even the Rockwell T2, which is a razor that I saved up for, it's kind of expensive for my personal budget, based off of another buddy's rave reviews, and that one I just didn't get on with very well. I found that just too mild and would give me weepers all the time and just felt weird, simply put, is the best way I can put it. It just felt weird. The blade felt like it was kind of unsupported to me. I just didn't like it very much. And this was one of the first adjustables that I felt truly had the capability of hitting low settings, but still being efficient. Not only hitting the low setting, but still shaving hair and doing something productive at that lower setting. So I like that I can crank this down to the super smooth settings, like a 2.5, but yet it still does something. Whereas with the Rockwell T2, on 2.5, 2.75. It wasn't efficient enough, but if I cranked it up, it was fine shaving experience wise. It wasn't that it was overly aggressive while I was using it, but it would just always give me weepers and stuff. And I tried a bunch of different blades with it and I just couldn't get on with it. And I saw a lot of lackluster reviews from a lot of people on the T2. So I said, okay, it's not just me. Let's go with a 3 for the against the grain pass. I forgot to mention with the number color fill, I'll put a video up. French Shaving does a really good video on it. But basically, you use Tester's enamel model paint for like hobby plastic RC cars and stuff like that. You can get it at any hobby shop. The trick to it is 2 things. Use as little paint as you possibly can to fill the numbers. I like to use a toothpick to drop the paint in there. The other trick is newspaper or like classified ads you get in the mail that have that waxy coating on them. That's pretty much the perfect paper that you want to use to try to remove the excess paint. And because it has that wax coating to the paper, I find that it possesses the perfect consistency to remove excess paint, but not pull paint out of the numbers that you just filled. Whereas if I use shop rags, paper towels, toilet paper, anything else that I've tried, I find it's very hard to not pull the numbers that you just filled paint out. And that waxed paper, that newspaper or ads can have, is that perfect texture to pull the paint out of there. And since the Yaqi is 316 and it's polished, that polished finish makes it so easy to just take the newspaper, rub it on there, and it just pulls the excess paint and nothing else off very quickly and easily. Whereas I tried it on like my McCore Couture, and that's the matte finish one that I have. And those matte finishes, like the Parker is also kind of more of a matte satin finish. Those ones just don't play nice. It's very hard to do the color fills cleanly on those with that method anyways. Maybe there's some easier method that I don't know of. But this Yaqi was definitely the easiest color fill that I've done. And Matt from Razor Emporium, he does that same method on all his vintage razors. He basically uses newspaper and then just uses like a toothpick to kind of drop the paint in there. Very nice. Smooth shave. Bring the brush out. This probably has to be my favorite Razor Rock soap that I've tried. I like that it's tallow based. It's got that Fuller's Earth in it, hence the name Mutterfocker. Fuller's Earth is a special mud ponds in Italy that people flock to, and you basically lay in this special mud, this Fuller's Earth, and it's supposed to be amazing for your skin. Well, this soap has has some of that in there, and it definitely seems to hit way harder than a cheap soap. That, you know, I don't want to call it a cheap soap. It's just not a $25 soap. But it has good good post shave for a cheaper soap, and it lathers up so easily. Let's crank it down just a tiny bit more. All right, let me just do a cleanup pass on my nose. Has a pretty slim profile, especially for an adjustable. Let's go ahead and spray off with some water. Let's see if I need to do a cleanup pass. Just a little bit in my usual spots. All right, let me just get cleaned up here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm gonna put on some Thayer's Witch Hazel while we're talking here. Take a little bit of that in my mouth. All right, so I was a little apprehensive to try this because for whatever reason, I feel Yaqi put the name Ultima on there, and I felt that that was a little misleading because a lot of the Ultima lineup are known for being aggressive adjustables. And so I was a little apprehensive to try this because not only was it the Ultima name, but it also was a slant razor, and slant razors can sometimes be a little aggressive. So I was a little apprehensive to try it, but This is fantastic. They call this the Ultima Slope. And full disclosure, I forgot to mention earlier, Yaqi did send this razor to me. This was one of the first razors that got sent to me when I had kind of first started my YouTube channel. So I thought it was awesome that Yaqi was willing to kind of help me out a little bit and send me a cool razor. But I always give my honest reviews. Just wanted to throw that out there, and that I mentioned it in my first video, so I didn't want somebody to think that I was withholding anything. But I love the fact that it's all polished 316 stainless. I love the cool barber pole handle. It's not quite as thick in diameter as the Rex console. The grip on it is good. The Rex was a little bit nicer, but you're talking double the money or triple depending on which finish you get with the Rex. I'll put the measurements up, but if I remember right, I want to say that on the lower settings, this is like a 0.50 gap, and then it goes like to a 1.25 or something like that on the 6th setting. I'll put all those numbers up there so you can see, but just wanted to say shout out again to Subi Shave's channel. I'll put up his video there. It covers all Gibbs razors and how to manipulate them and mess things around, and that way you can get everything dialed back in if you're having any issues with any of the Gibbs style razors. And I'll also put up Mark from Friendship Shaves video on how to color fill the numbers, so you can do that in a little more detail than what I described. But yeah, this is a great razor and I really like it. It was one of the first adjustables that I really enjoyed, that the fact that it was efficient on the lower numbers, but on a 4, that's about as wild as I like to get with it. So I felt that it really covers a lot of my bases as far as being mild, medium, and aggressive for my personal needs. So if you're looking for a slant razor and an adjustable, this is definitely one of my top picks for sure. I really did enjoy this new knot, this AP Shave Co., just their standard tuxedo knot, not the G5C, but this tuxedo knot is a real home run. And then I'm going to put on, I have the matching splash for this, and it smells fantastic too. It has a really, really good smell. Probably my favorite cologne scent of any soap that I've tried yet. So there you have it. Thanks again, Subi. I enjoyed the shave finally. Was able to fix it myself, which I always enjoy. So check them out if you haven't already. Check out Subi's channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.